What does it mean to be pure? This has been a prominent question for the #1 contender in the pure division, the Savage Weight Fred Yehi, for the last couple months. Since the 19th anniversary pay-per-view, Fred Yehi has been on a tear, going 3-0 in Pure Rules matches and winning the first Pure Rules Gauntlet match to earn his shot at the championship. But the man he will be facing is someone who could stand in as the answer to that burning question, the Octopus Jonathan Gresham. Yehi and Gresham are set to do battle for the ROH Pure Championship on Ring of Honor television, and it's for more than just being the Pure Champion. It's about vindication for Jonathan Gresham's mission to purify the company and reshape it in the Foundation's image. It's about validation for Fred Yehi and the style he employs as a pioneer in the establishment of the modern Pure Wrestling rule set. It's a match that sees the best pure professional wrestler on the planet meet the epitome of an anti-pure wrestler, clashing over the most prestigious championship in Ring of Honor today. And behind every marquee matchup, there is a story that can only be told when the match is broken down by the numbers. When I say that Fred Yehi has been a pioneer for pure wrestling, that isn't just empty promotional jargon. Fred Yehi was part of the 2020 Pure Championship Tournament, participated in the first ever Pure Rules Tag Team match, won the first Pure Rules Gauntlet match. Yehi has been everywhere in this division except for where he stands now, the #1 contender. A simple look at his career stats tells you the story of his early struggles with luck. With a 3-3 record in singles matches, good for the 7th best record in the Pure division. Yehi is top 5 in rope breaks forced, but top 3 in rope breaks used. This mixed record is something that comes with being a pioneer. There are no roads that are built for you. You are the one blazing the trail. And instead of joining up with the Foundation as Pure Wrestling supergroup, Fred Yehi has gone about Pure Wrestling his own way. Yehi's style is different from the Foundation, rooted more in hard strikes than he is in out-grappling his opponents. Nobody in the entire Pure division can claim to be a better striker than Fred Yehi, who brings a unique level of speed and power to his exchanges that can level even the largest of foes with a few strikes. But when you're going up against Tracy Williams and the prodigious run of Dak Draper, it's difficult to get the traction that Yehi has seen since the 19th anniversary. Something that has benefited Fred Yehi is that because of his exceptional ability, he has been able to end his matches relatively quickly, holding one of the shortest average match times in the Pure division and a win in the 3rd shortest Pure Rules match against world-famous CB in under 10 minutes. The biggest flaw in Fred Yehi's game can be seen in almost all of his matches, but is most prominent as he faces world-famous CB and Rocky Romero in his latest winning streak. Fred Yehi can be neglectful when it comes to limb targets. This isn't all that surprising. Fred Yehi is strong and athletic, and it often hasn't mattered when his opponents have targeted his limbs. He did win those matches with CB and Rocky after all. In his 3-match losing streak against Tracy Williams, Dak Draper, and the Pure Rules tag match, he didn't lose because he was broken down with leg or arm submissions, he was simply outgamed. That being said, Fred Yehi and other wrestlers who are more athletic and physical can get away with looking over the finer details, dealing more in the broad strokes of professional wrestling. But when you go up against Jonathan Gresham, letting him work your arms, or your legs, or your neck, or your back, or even if you let him work on your big toe, then unless you're able to knock him out cold, he's going to find a way to target that weak point. Fred Yehi is exquisite in the broad strokes, but when it comes to the details, nobody is better than the incumbent champion. When it comes to Jonathan Gresham, he is the most known commodity in Pure Wrestling since the return of the rule set in 2020. He has the most matches, the most wins, and the best win percentage. He won the championship tournament in 2020 by beating Josh Woods and Tracy Williams, the #2 and #3 most experienced Pure wrestlers on the Ring of Honor roster. He has forced the 2nd most rope breaks. He has used the 2nd most rope breaks. There isn't any new information about Jonathan Gresham that should surprise you. His claim that he is the best pure professional wrestler on the planet has been more than backed up and justified through his performances. That being said, there have been some proverbial cracks in the foundation that have begun to show up over his last few championship matches. Jonathan Gresham, while being a savant in transitions and a devastating finisher everywhere in the building, has demonstrated something that is not very common in dominant champions in professional wrestling or any combat sport: fragility. Ever since he won the Pure Championship by winning the 2020 tournament, Jonathan Gresham has experienced immense amounts of problems when it comes to the strikes of his opponents, be them legal forearms from Joe Keys or an illegal punch from Dragon Lee. His susceptibility to closed fist strikes is something that should jump off the page, as he has been the victim of more closed fist strikes than anyone in the division, taking a punch from Wheeler Yuta, Flip Gordon, Dak Draper and Dragon Lee, the latter of which was able to knock him out cold and get a pinfall victory to take the World Tag Team Championships, and handing Gresham his only loss under pure rules. This isn't to question his heart. There isn't an ounce of quit in Jonathan Gresham. This is most apparent in his match against Jay Lethal on the 500th episode of ROH TV, where he wasn't able to force a single rope break and lost almost all of the exchanges, being down bad late in the match, and still managing to initiate an exchange and catch the 20-year veteran with a snatch roll-up. But while there might not be any quit in Jonathan Gresham, there has appeared to be a generous amount of give, which is the last thing you want to have when you are wrestling the hardest striker in the division. A man hungry to validate himself in his time in Ring of Honor by knocking the crown off your head with a brutal strike. Styles make fights in the pure division, and all of the wrestlers have a unique edge to their style that sets them apart. For Jonathan Gresham, as always, it's his versatility. While some wrestlers rely on their tried and true signature moves to finish matches, Jonathan Gresham, despite having the most matches in the pure division, has never ended a match with the same move twice. He's won matches by submission, he's won matches by referee stoppage, he's won matches by pinfall, and it's never been the same setup twice, which makes him an absolute nightmare to prepare for. Gresham's versatility is integral to his style, as his best work comes when the match is in motion, when the grappling exchanges and reversals are moving quickly. That is when Jonathan Gresham has been able to snatch a finish out of nowhere, which has been the biggest reason for his reign of terror over the division. Fred Yehi, meanwhile, has his explosiveness. Nobody lashes out better than Fred Yehi. When his back is up against a wall, Yehi can let loose a dynamite flurry and knock you for a loop, opening you up for his devastating Koji clutch submission finisher. Yehi has been able to floor Tracy Williams, Rhett Titus, and Dak Draper with his strikes, all of whom take strikes better than Jonathan Gresham. Meanwhile, Gresham has been able to out-wrestle and out-transition Jay Lethal, Josh Woods, and Tracy Williams, all of whom are more detail-oriented and attentive to their position and grappling spots than Fred Yehi. It's a situation where the weaknesses of each man offset. And while Gresham is the more proven finisher of the two, it's Fred Yehi who benefits the most from both men being each other's kryptonite stylistically. Because while Gresham can catch a submission or pinfall out of nowhere, Yehi is going to make it a struggle for him every step of the way. Fred Yehi could conceivably win the match with a single strike if he catches Jonathan Gresham right on the button. The final portions of this story are noteworthy elements to look out for. Both of these men have certain trends in their pure wrestling resume and personal histories that can lend themselves to changing the match. First is the biggest element of pure wrestling, the rope breaks. Both men have been prolific in forcing and using rope breaks, but as they say, the devil is in the details. We'll start with Jonathan Gresham's relationship with the rope break. Gresham has a -6 rope break differential, meaning that he has used 2 matches worth of rope breaks more than he has forced his opponents to use. Jonathan Gresham has also used all 3 of his rope breaks in all 4 of his title defenses, and he uses them to escape danger, to mitigate damage, or just to get a breather. While Fred Yehi is top 5 in forcing rope breaks in the pure division, forcing 9 in his 6 matches, these numbers have been slightly inflated as he had 2 matches with Tracy Williams, unquestionably the most prolific user of rope breaks. 6 of Fred Yehi's 9 rope breaks forced came in these 2 matches with Tracy Williams, leaving him with 3 forced across his 4 remaining singles matches. If there is someone to be concerned about as it pertains to rope breaks, it would be Fred Yehi. Something else to look out for is the match length itself. Including the finals of the Pure Tournament, the average length for a Pure Championship match is 17 minutes and 48 seconds, a full 5 minutes longer than Fred Yehi's average match length, and 3 minutes longer than his longest match, a 14-minute war with Tracy Williams. Jonathan Gresham has been prolific in these long wars, participating in all 5 of the championship matches, including going over 20 with both Flip Gordon and Dak Draper, while Fred Yehi is far more comfortable in a shorter match. Yehi might be an athletic marvel, but all that speed and power becomes a hindrance and not a benefit when you enter the trenches of a 60-minute time limit Pure Championship match. This, combined with Yehi's lack of attention to limb targeting, could spell disaster for the Savage Weight. The final element to look for is the mindset of Fred Yehi. As has been stated, Yehi is just as much a pioneer of the Pure division as any member of the Foundation, but he has noticed that he hasn't felt like it. His controversial loss to Dak Draper has weighed heavy on him since it happened, forcing Yehi to question what it means to be pure if a guy like Dak Draper is capable of launching himself to the top of the division on the back of closed fist punches and a limited amount of technical skill. Fred Yehi has earned his title shot fairly, but not without a dark cloud hanging over his thoughts about what it means to be a pure wrestler. And it could beg the question, just how far is Fred Yehi willing to go to be not just another pure wrestler, but to become the pure champion? The match between Jonathan Gresham and Fred Yehi for the Pure Championship is one of the best stylistic matchups in the Pure Division's history. It's one that has a wealth of complex elements behind it, and all of these statistics can only tell one half of the story. The only way to see the other half is to watch.
How do I watch ROH TV? Start by visiting ROHWrestling.com and using our zip code lookup tool to find your local listings. We aren't in your area? Don't worry. You can catch us on digital channels such as Stadium and Stir City, as well as Fight.tv. ROH TV also airs every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on Best on the Planet, our newly launched 24/7 streaming channel, which is available on Stir and Plex. The newest episode of ROH TV is always free on ROHWrestling.com and the Ring of Honor app. Ring of Honor has never been easier to watch.